All right, the State of the Nation discussion starts right now, where we talk about matters, politics, and everything in between there. We'll talk about three main issues. There's the bill that regulates picketing. It is being proposed by Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, Member of Parliament from Mbeere North, who's here with us in studio. Honorable Dan Manzo is also here, Senator from Makueni, and Gabriel Meduma, Governance and Communication Expert, is with us as well in studio. We'll talk about three main things. One, that bill regulating picketing. Is it a contravention of the freedom of rights of Kenyans? We'll find out from the proposer of the bill. Also, we'll talk about the issues around boycotting taxes that has been called by the opposition. That is another conversation that we'll be having. And strangers in cabinet, which is also on the front page of the Standard here, and it's a story we also headlined with earlier on. Let's start off with this particular conversation on regulation of demos. And Honorable Ruku, what is the justification for this bill that you're now proposing?
Thank you, Trevor. The Article 37 of our Constitution gives us right to do demonstration, picket, as well as assemblies, as well as present petition to public authorities. Yes. And that should not happen should not cause the loss of life or the loss of property of any Kenyans. So basically, this bill is about ensuring that the right of for demonstration, as it is enshrined in our Constitution, it is there. Yeah. And also to ensure that we cannot lose lives and property in the course of demonstration or in the course of picketing. To ensure the police conduct themselves in a proper manner, the demonstrators conduct themselves also in an appropriate manner. We have witnessed the loss of property in the past, the loss of lives in the past, during demonstrations or during assemblies. So basically it's to put order in terms of how we are going to conduct ourselves and how we are going to ensure this right enshrined in our Constitution is enjoyed by every Kenyan. And as you enjoy this right, you also don't infringe the right of the other person who is not demonstrating. Demonstration should not make Kenyans not go to their usual business. Yeah. Schools should not be closed because of demonstration. Transport, public transport, should not happen because of demonstrations. So it's to ensure your right to demonstrate is respected, but also the right of the other person who is not in that demonstration or in that picketing is also respected. Basically, this is what the bill is all about. Yeah, but you're also mentioning part of the regulations there is regulating officers or any police officer or above the rank of Inspector General may prevent the holding of any assembly or demonstration where there is clear, present, or imminent danger of a breach. Yes. That contravenes the same Article 37 that you're saying, because then the police can arbitrarily decide that this is not properly constituted, so it's not happening. There is a procedure I'm proposing on how you get the permission, to hold the public demonstration or the picketing. That procedure should be followed. Trevor, we have rights. The Bill of Rights is very clear. Article 37 is very clear in terms of the rights which every Kenyan should enjoy. But this right comes at a cost, should not be abused. These rights come at a cost. For instance, when you talk about Article 43, the economics and social rights, the country, the nation, has to invest in all these rights. So there is huge cost for us Kenyans to be able to enjoy every right enshrined in our Constitution. But Article 37, for that to happen, Trevor, every article of our Constitution must be put in effect by a bill of by an act of parliament. There are quite a number of acts of parliament, articles of the Constitution, which have not been put in effect. So one of the articles which has not been put into effect is Article 37 of our Constitution. Remember, this Constitution at the moment is 13 years old. From 2013 to now, Article 37 has not been put into effect. What you are talking about, what it says is that if you are given, when you are doing the demonstration, and the police officer from the rank of inspector assesses the situation, that there is someone who is going to lose life, there is property which is going to be destroyed, then he is mandated by law to assess the situation and to make the decision on the spot. Because in the past, Trevor, you know, we have seen the police are there, but properties have been destroyed, lives have been lost, and by the way, nobody has ever been held accountable for the losses of life as well as property, which we have witnessed in the past over the years during the demonstration.
Let's see what Honorable Manza has to say. Does Honorable Ruku have a point that sometimes this demonstration
not at all.
can be violent?
And unfortunately, you know, a lot of new members of parliament, and especially those who are not lawyers, when they come to the House, they have a lot of gusts, and you are seeing all manner of bills be proposed. It is simply over legislation. There are acts of parliament in place already dealing with it. And you see, for every law you make, you must be seeking to sort out some mischief. You want to make sure that a certain mischief is contained or is dealt with by the law. There is the penal code, which shows offences which can be, can come out of demonstrations. And then there is an act called the Public Order Act. What Honorable Ruku doesn't know is that under every act of parliament, there must be regulations. And what has been lacking are regulations under Public Order Act. I saw recently the Honorable Kidiki, the Minister for Interior, has attempted to make regulations. But when you make regulations, they must go through the committee of delegated legislation in the House, and there is, there are enabling legislations on how you make those regulations. So what has happened in the last, in the last regime, the last constitution, the Attorney General used to make regulations, and the regulations of this, which is talking about, under Public Order Act, came in some legal notice in the year 2000 by Honorable Amos Wako. After that, these regulations expire in 10 years, and they have to be reviewed by the House. So they expired a long time ago. The Ministers of Interior who have been there did not bother come up with new regulations. So all he's talking about, he should be drafting some regulations for the Honorable Kindiki so that they can come to the House and it will deal with this. Article 37 is not one of, the Constitution states clearly which articles enabling legislation must be made by the House, or what amendments of existing laws you can make. So these laws do exist. It's a Public Order Act. Unfortunately, the Penal Code and the Public Order Act are very old acts. They are colonial acts. But they have gone through amendments over the years and can be amended even in an omnibus bill. There is always that miscellaneous amendment bill which comes into the House. That's what he needs to participate.
So you agree that an amendment has to be done?
Some amendments can be made to polish this, but for now, what is lacking are regulations. In those regulations of those days, you cannot make, we live in a global village, and we cannot make laws, just to sit here. There is the practice in the whole world. Yeah. And the practice is when people are allowed to demonstrate all over the world. That is from international law, from international conventions, they're there. But those demonstrations, they take place all over the world. And that's why our Constitution has given that right. Then what happens, it is regulated. You have regulations. What routes are you going to use? What time will it happen? And the police will also be there to check law and order. What is happening in Kenya, the mischief we is trying to cure. By coming up with this, he first of all wants to bring in dictatorship. Secondly, he wants to cure the possible trial of errant police officers by the ICC. And that's not going to get away through this sort of law he wants to make. And I'll be very surprised if this law is allowed by the lawyers in Parliament, including the Honorable Wetangula, to come even to the floor of the House. And even the President will sign it into law. And even after that, it has to come to Senate because it touches on the counties. Trust me, it will be killed somewhere if you go the way you are going. The best way to do is to make regulations for Honorable Kindiki, let them follow the right channel, and then we'll be able to deal with it. Otherwise, there's nothing. It's just hotter. Let me use this new word of Kenya. It must be very idle in the House. You just look for more serious things to do, to enact, to make sure that you help the country, but it's not trying to counter the human rights guaranteed all over the world. Let me just finish on this one. Recently, I was in France, and there was a strike by the airmen, the people who control the landing and taking off of planes. And what they did, they went on strike, and no planes could land, and the ones which had landed could not take off. And you see, they left a few people to divert planes into other airports other than the main airport in France. And after talks went on for 1 hour while we were on the runway, they were paid their dues and they went back to work. And that's the effect of a strike. That's the effect of a demonstration. Yep. So we cannot kill human rights, which are guaranteed all over the world, to make Honorable Ruku and President Ruto happy. Yeah. Nothing of that sort is going to happen in this country. Okay. I cannot allow this law to go through the House.
I'll give you a right of response, but let's see what Gabriel has to say about this. Gabriel, is this necessary from where you stand?
Trevor, thank you for having us, and good morning. And I'm glad we have two members of Parliament who are actually, fighting this thing through, and I hope it goes all the way to the floor of the House. But I think the distinction which I believe Mheshimiwa is trying to make, and this one I can support him, and I know many other Kenyans of goodwill will support, is because we need to have a very sharp distinction between picketing, demonstration, which the Constitution talks about, and it gives us a balloon effect on how those demonstrations and picketing must be, or the rules and areas of conformity. And this has been our problem because we tease out, Trevor, what I feel applies to me, and that which I know I can meander and, one that can give me wiggle room to use legal jargon and legal brio, I kind of, wash it away. The truth of the matter is, like Mheshimiwa is saying, Article 37 talks about peaceful and unarmed. That, to me, is key in each and every demonstration. Secondly, he's mentioned something which is quite pertinent, that if you are covered or if you are operating within the parentheses of that article, the regulations and the laws therein, it means that when you are demonstrating, you should not affect me in any way, shape, or form. I should not close my shop. My matatu should not be burnt. My kids should go to school because your demonstrations and picketing are peaceful and unarmed. I've also been to cities in Europe where picketing is going on. Demonstrations are happening. But guess what? Nothing is affected. Production is not affected. Normal life is not affected. I mean, it goes on, as if nothing is happening. But yet, somebody is able to pursue their freedoms and rights that are guaranteed by the constitutions in their jurisdictions. So I think the first thing we need to do is to have a very sharp distinction between peaceful and unarmed demonstrations and something you call and I'm liking where Mheshimiwa is talking about human rights and everything, but yet you have to find something somewhere to really underline. Is this demonstration or is this picketing, is it going to turn violent? Those are two different things, Trevor. There is, yes, the demonstration, we know, we've seen some. We've seen dentists, we've seen teachers, demonstrate in town. They pick their placards, they go around, Harambee House, they move around town, and guess what? After they are done, they separation and they go. No car is destroyed, no supermarket is robbed. And I think if we are really talking to the heart of Article 37. That is what most Kenyans should understand demonstrations as being.
Yeah.
But this other one, I think every time you hear Maandamano, what happens, Trevor? What happens? You have ghost cities. In fact, Nairobi to some people is a no-go. People close their businesses. Why? Why would Kenyans not send their kids to school when there is Maandamano, like we had in the Maandamano in those Tuesdays? Every parent was concerned. I don't want to put my child in a school bus. I don't want my child to go to school. Why was there need for them to shy away? It is because they know. These political demonstrations, they are nothing but peaceful.
Okay. Ruku, where do you draw the balance between these freedoms by the people and infringing on them at the same time?
The balance is very clear if you read what I'm proposing, this bill. But before that, Trevor, I think Senator Manso, he has been lazy for quite some time in Parliament. And that's why he's as audacity to talk about the first members of Parliament. It is true he has been in Parliament for quite some time, but you can be there and be a very lazy registrator, and I think he's one of them, because he knows that law will never be retrogressive. We are talking about a Public Order Act of 1953 or 52, around there, and we have a new constitution of 2010. It's a completely outdated Public Order Act, which should not be part of our laws of the Republic. As serious lawmakers, we should be able to provide this country with well-enacted acts or laws, you know, in each and every realm of our society, so that this society can be predictable. Trevor, we need an economy which foreign investors can put their money in this economy. You can't put your money in an economy where you are not sure what will happen tomorrow. That in case there are demonstration, even everything comes to a standstill. That's not an economy which you want to invest money into. And we are talking about job creation. How do you create jobs for our young people if we are running an economy which tomorrow 2 or 3 people can decide we close the economy? We have to put laws which will ensure we have a very predictable economy on how we conduct our day-to-day activities. And this is one of the that piece of law which we are trying to come up with, so that all the rights of, you know, if you read at the object of the bill, it says it recognizes the right of every Kenyan to demonstrate, to picket, but public order must be observed. Public safety must be, you know, is at the core of, must be at the core of this demonstration. The police, we have seen police killing people in the past, in the course of demonstration. There is a baby who was killed in 2017. I don't know, I remember that baby. She was at the balcony by police. What do you call it? Have we seen anything that has been done to ensure the life of that baby meant something to the family? Nothing up to today. So the bill is proposing that in case you violate some provisions, there are actions which should be taken. Whether you are a police officer or you are part of demonstrators. That's why we are saying, please don't wear a military kind of uniform or police kind of uniform. Don't mask your face when you're doing demonstration. The organizer of the demonstration must be well known. You have to also, in case of littering, in case of what do you call garbage, you know, you go littering the entire of the city. we have the right to enjoy a clean environment. Please, who will take care of this cost?
Okay.
Okay? So we have to have a democratic society, but a democratic society which is disciplined.
Okay. So I have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're still talking about these bills. And Mheshimiwa, what I'd like to hear from you is where are you drawing the line? And I keep pushing that agenda because I think you're all agreeing here that sometimes the demonstrations can be violent and there needs to be intervention. It's the how that is where the process is. So if you say that the police can decide that this is not authorized, and then at the same time you say that somebody who takes part in a demonstration that is not authorized can be imprisoned for 1 year. So don't you then take away their rights? But that's a conversation we're having. Let's see also what you're saying online at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. We're taking a quick break. When you come back, we're still continuing that conversation and also bringing up some of your feedback. Don't go too far.